Welcome to the Your Desired Success Foundation Mastermind. So we are all around wealth, health, relationships, time, financial freedom, connecting us all together to help us raise the vibration across the world. And we do it through the paying it forward with the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have done unto you. So we're setting that foundation straight away now. Napoleon Hill, who's the author of The Law of Success, Think and Grow Rich, Magic Ladder to Success, Master Key to Riches, and many more. The foundation of what we've created here with the mastermind, it's all really with what he shared from some great minds across the world during, well, certainly in America back in the 1900s, early 1900s. So he says here, it is the principle through which you may borrow and use the education, the experience, the influence, and perhaps the capital of other people in carrying out your own plans in life. It is the principle through which you can accomplish in 1 year more than you could accomplish without it in a lifetime if you depended entirely on your own efforts for success. So a very powerful understanding as to why we have the masterminds, why we choose to give up our time to come on and learn and grow. So we know our numbers as we're going to go through the mastermind principles and mission statement as well. So just to give you an overview how it's going to run, we go through the principle statement. We're going to have a little bit of a share and going through a mastermind topic, which will take us up to the hour here, which will be 10 a.m. And then we're going to talk around the foundation of Noble Goldman as to how it's helped us create this with the free membership and all the value that they offer there. So let's get into the principles. So Kirsty, if you'd like to kick us off.
Okay. The purpose of the mastermind is to learn leadership, build teams, and create multiple sources of income together.
We are here to inspire and challenge each other to reach and exceed goals.
Each member is committed to their own success, as well as the success of every other member of the group.
We are committed to meeting in person or virtually for 1 hour every week.
We are present. There is no multitasking or distractions during meetings.
We are collaborative. We listen without interrupting, lecturing, or judging.
We celebrate each other's successes without jealousy.
We are honest and participate by giving thoughtful feedback.
We are open and listen to different perspectives without being defensive or offering excuses.
We trust fellow members enough to share fully.
We are focused, but we also think it's important to have fun during meetings.
We are real and authentic. This is a no BS zone.
We allow ourselves to become completely aligned with each other and with the high forces, one mind, one soul, one love.
Noble Goldman mission statement I'm going to get into now. So Noble Goldman International is a conscious, aware, and engaged global community of abundance and freedom creators.
Oh, sorry, I should be saying. Our mission is to create 1 million millionaires who are free from the time for money paradigm. We focus on creating multiple streams of income through masterminding, team building, and the effective utilization of the internet-based platforms.
The mastermind becomes an opportunity for self-discovery when transcendent shift from the me to the we to the us. I can't see that word there.
Occurs.
What was it?
Occurs.
Occurs. Congruence and engagement increases. The world's consciousness is then raised one meaningful and in one inspired relationship at a time.
Beautiful. Perfect. So we don't need to worry about a timekeeper. Were you on the Gold Star Mastermind last night, Kirsty?
Declan, yes.
Yeah. What was your one big takeaway from that?
Oh, goodness.
There's a lot of big ones.
Oh, there is. It's just jam-packed full of takeaways. Wait a minute. I'm on so many masterminds. I enjoy them so much that I go on so many calls that I seem to overlap with what I got out of this call to what I got out of the next call. But I know one thing that's coming very strongly through to me, and I'm not sure whether it was last night's call or the previous calls, is the need for me to define what my success looks like. You know, I want to be successful, but what does it actually look like? I need to define that very clearly, mentally, spiritually, physically, and financially, to define that, so then that I can set my goals to work towards it.
Yeah.
So that's what's been coming through for me lately.
Yeah, that's a powerful one, because I know we discussed that on Leslie Feger's mastermind, and it was it was interesting how many people could put their hand up and say that they were clear on what success actually meant for them and what it looked like, and if someone questioned them in the street just off the cuff, could they say exactly what it was? Yeah, and it was really interesting. Yeah, thanks, great share, and we'll have a little bit of member sharing afterwards. So just to because there's only a small group, so we've got time to do this. What we're going to do is share what our name is, where we're calling in from, and one goal that you want to be kept accountable for. So when we're saying that, it's basically putting it out there to the community here on the call, as well as to the universe, to say, I'm going to achieve this, especially before the next call next week. So it's important to understand that this isn't about your business, it's about you. Some people think that they can just start talking around all about the business. It's not about that. If the goal is about what you're going to achieve within your business, that's fine, but share your name, where you're calling in from, and one goal you want to be kept accountable for. So, hi Corey. Good to see you, champ. So we'll keep the numbers with Kirsty, myself, Ahmed, and then Corey can go number 4.
Okay, I'm Kirsty. I'm from the Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia, previously from Finland. The one goal that I'd like to be kept accountable for is defining my success. I need to be really specific and have a vision before I can create it. I've got to know what I'm doing. I've got to create a vision for my success, looking at those levels, those areas that I mentioned before, like physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. And I need to write that down and be very clear and quite specific about it, so I can then visualize it and I can then work on creating it.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for sharing. It's funny you said that, because that's mine too. So Martin Ball from Perth, Western Australia. And yeah, the call we had last week on the Thursday with Leslie really made me think, because when they said, what does success mean to you? I instantly said to myself, success is based on the person I came here to be. But then when I stepped back, I went, but what does that mean? What does it look like? How does that materialize in the physical world? And I was like, I don't know. So that's where I need to take that time to step back and go through. So mine's the same as yours, which my goal is actually to have it done by before Thursday night, when I get back on the call with Leslie. So thanks for the gentle nudge. Ahmed?
All right, my name is Ahmed. I'm from Abu Dhabi, which is a city next to Dubai. It's the capital city. And the one goal basically that I would like to be accountable for is to basically walk every day for 30 minutes at least. Once I wake up, I just walk, exercise, basically, that walking, that's it.
Nice, buddy. Thanks for sharing. Corey?
I'll just unmute myself. G'day, I'm Corey. I'm also from Perth. And my accountability just this week is around my business. I'm setting up a men's walk where we're going to go out into nature. So I'm going to do a reconnaissance walk tomorrow to find the space and where we can hold circles, etc., but to generate the flyer for the following week, basically to have that out into the market space and start promoting that event for around 6 weeks' time. So that's my thing to be held accountable for.
Yeah, nice, mate. There shouldn't be a fire ban, so we'll be all right. Yeah, great shares, guys. So what we'll do is we'll get into the topic of discussion for today, which just make sure, is that sharing full screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So it's all around your accountability. And this is certainly one that challenges a lot of people when we start looking into it. And Bob knows best. With Bob Proctor, accountability is the glue that ties commitment to the result. I really enjoy a lot of Bob's teachings and trainings, and quite a few of the people that have come into my life, especially around Noble Goldman in particular, and the masterminding groups, all talk very highly of Bob and done a lot of courses, spent a lot of time with Bob. So some great value there. Accountability is the glue that ties commitment to the result. So connecting to your accountability, why it's important? Well, it's helping take ownership as well as create that self-discipline. Elevates your posture. One of the big things around our communication with people as well, even just walking down the road, if our posture's good, we're strong, that's actually attractive to a lot of people as well. Better time management and achieving desires and goals, and helps toward self-mastery, which is a journey I believe that we're all on, for those of us who are open to it. So the truths about accountability, actions, the leader sets the pace and creates the culture. Now, one of my mentors, Darren Hardy, speaks around, trying to think of the audio that I was listening to, but he was saying around that he goes into a lot of different companies, and he can tell who the leader is based on the way that they dress. Because he finds that where the leader, the person who's actually doing all the speaking, the connecting, a lot of the other people follow that person, and so they end up with organizations such as like ACN. He said a lot of those people are in suits, ties, and so on. He says, but then you go to a company like Vima. I mean, they went through a big problems, but Vima, they're all young people, college students. So they've got the baggy jeans and the t-shirts on and the caps backwards and all that kind of stuff. He says, so the leader, whoever starts that movement, creates the pace and the culture. And then ownership, every result is because of your action. And this is where it's taking ownership of, we are where we are because of the decisions that we've made, the actions that we've taken, and the results. We have to take ownership, irrelevant of what anybody else says, or if we believe it's somebody else. Opportunity to create change or to run away with the weak. So to create change or to run away with the weak, are we taking the opportunity that's in front of us to continue to move forward, or are we actually running away to remain where we are now, or even taking ourselves further back? You know, when we just listened to Ahmed said then around getting out, going for a walk for 30 minutes a day. Corey, you mentioned about getting out into nature, going and finding that space, constantly creating the change, constantly evolving, finding a better way. Togetherness. Everyone is accountable to win together. This is, we hear it many times. Often a lot of people, they choose not to collaborate. They don't choose to partner around a team. But when you look at it, even Novak Djokovic, you know, he gets on the court, we're just focusing on Novak, but it's the team behind him that help him get to that point. So us coming together and supporting each other and keeping each other accountable helps us all win. But also accepting that it can't be delegated for fear of failure. So some people, they tend to feel that they can't go through that growth stage, and they want to delegate things away for fear that they're going to fail, for fear that they're not going to actually grow, and they're going to be frowned upon, they're going to be judged. But it's accepting that some things we need to step up to help us grow. Yes, it's great to help leverage. There's people who are far smarter than me, and I have a lot of those people around me that I know in areas that I'm not very good at, but I'm also challenging myself every single day. Solution. There is always a way to fix a challenge with a team. So really, when we think around it, that's the power of a mastermind. Coming together, this is the problem, this is the challenge I'm having within my life, within my business. Let's find the solution, but also leading with the solution mindset is very important, because there is always an answer. Valuing others, supporting each other creates success for us all. So making sure that we are giving each other the time, the space, the love, the understanding, and most importantly, that we are listening to what people are saying, where from a non-judgment environment. Punctual, respect your time and other people's time. So that accountability of when we set a time, we show up, we do what we said we were going to do, and we respect that everybody else is making sure that they're being punctual as well with their time. And then this is arguably my favorite. I've got it on my website. It's something that's really helped me shift a lot. The golden rule: do unto others as you would have done unto you. So always coming from that space of thinking, how would I feel if this was done on me? So that helps, I feel, keep us grounded. And John knows best here. Accountability separates the wishes in life from the action takers that care enough about their future to account for their daily actions. So John's obviously a very successful entrepreneur there. But accountability separates the wishes in life from the action takers that care enough about their future to account for their daily actions. So today's topic of discussion is really elaborating more on around accountability and what you've found since you've been implementing it, where you feel that you can be more accountable, where you may be lacking it. Have you ever not pushed through something? What's the topic of discussion, understanding that this is not all about me, it's about us together. So the floor is anybody's.
Well, we spoke about this a bit yesterday, Martin. I've been in this state of flow where it's just been taking immediate action on things that come up. So instead of, when something comes in my realm of awareness, instead of like procrastinating on it and then losing the momentum, I've just been taking instant action. So an example is, got caught up yesterday. I was meant to be swimming in a pool, but my son couldn't go for whatever reasons. It's not really relevant. But when I came home, I had an hour window that I wouldn't normally have in the morning. So instead of getting into scroll mode or jumping into the TV, the owner of the company that I work for had sent a strength and conditioning journal out to me. So I thought I'll jump in and read that. So I sat down and read that for an hour, and I realised that my knowledge base is much lower than what I thought it was. So I had a higher level of reasoning of what my intelligence around human movement was than what it actually was when I was reading this gentleman's work. So I jumped onto the strength and conditioning website for Australia and looked up their courses, found a course, flicked an email over to my boss and said, hey, what do you think of this course? And like, it's on this weekend coming up, and his immediate response was, hey, if you want to do that, I'll pay for it. So that immediate action resulted in being curious and letting my boss know, look, I need to improve my skill set, like just owning the fact that I'm not the be all and end all of an athlete's coach, resulted in ultimately my boss saying, look, I'll pay for that course to be for you to undertake it. So I think just taking action immediately is really important. For me, that's been really important. So the same thing with this men's walk's a classic example of not taking action. I've been talking about that since the start of COVID-19. So I've been talking about it for 3 months and not taking any action. So I've sent out a bunch of stuff to a mate and said, hey, I know he's off work, he's struggling with his mental health a bit, so I thought it's a good opportunity to get him out in nature, go for a walk. We can navigate the space, work out a good way to hike and where we're going to sit and meet and connect, and so basically create a micro version of the men's adventure tomorrow with one other guy. But if he decides he doesn't want to come, I'm just going to go on my own anyway. Like, I've made that commitment that tomorrow it's the only window I've got at the moment, so I need to just take that action and be proactive with it. And then once I've done that, is to come home, create the flyer, etc., etc. So I've actually created space today to basically create the crux of the flyer and then fill in the location where we meet, etc., etc., as that evolves. So I guess that's where I've been with accountability. So it's been a real shift for me because I've really been, I don't know, I've had this fear of no one's going to show up, right? So if I don't hold it, then if I don't promote it, so I create a situation where no one shows up, right? Because I have a lack of willingness to pay for Facebook ads or Google marketing or whatever, because I feel like it's a waste of money, right? But I'm kind of just starting to shift that mindset of openness. And there's also a sense of worthiness around that. I spoke about this last night in my men's group, is that I when my boss sent me a message saying I'll pay for that, like I burst into tears because I had a lack of self-worth that I haven't had an experience of love being given back to me. So there was this experience for me of just really, like, this is a guy that's business has been closed for 3 months. He's struggling to pay his rent, and now he's offering to pay for a course for me to go and do. You know, so the gesture to me was more significant than just a business owner who's flush with cash that says, "Hey, yeah, I'll pay for that course." So it was a really significant shift in my, I guess, my mental awareness around my worthiness and just diving into the belief systems that are underneath that. So yeah, I guess that's just what's up for me at the moment around accountability. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing there, Corey. And what about how did you feel? I was actually going to ask a question similar, but I think this is more important now. How did you feel when your boss said that to you? Because you said you burst into tears, but the fact that when you said around the self-worth issues with self, but your boss seeing the value of you to invest in you, how did that make you feel?
Oh yeah, it's just like the tears are right there now, man. You know, it's just yeah, I guess I've just had a sense of abandonment my whole life, right? So, and that's why this is unusual for me because I've not really been in a situation where I've collaborated with people. Like, it's always whether I've sabotaged it or it just hasn't worked, or I've been so needy in the situation that it falls apart, I guess. So how did I feel? I felt amazing, man. Like, it's a beautiful gift for me just to own and take forward into my life, right? Like, that I am, and this is what come up in the men's group last night, you know, like, I am worthy. I did a post on this, you know, I am worthy, I am loved, I am enough, you know, like, it's so yeah, it's just another layer, man, that I just really wasn't I guess I was aware of, but hadn't had it in my awareness, if that makes sense. So it was just really brought into my awareness to be able to go, okay, like, people value my contribution to the world, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was amazing.
Good on you, mate. Thanks for sharing. And you are worthy. you are amazing. Anything coming up for anyone else?
I guess for me, the word accountability, it's huge in a sense that it's a constant process, because I know personally myself, I need to peel back many, many layers to find me, who I am. You know, we all go through a journey where we get battered a little bit in life, and to find the real you back there, you know, once we can, you know, it helps us to learn and to change and to grow, you know, and being able to accept, you know, like what I love about this group, it's the me, the we, and the us. You know, I can sit here and I can sit low in this chair and I can hide, you know, so people can't actually see me. There's a part of me that I don't even know who's me, but it's about peeling back those layers, finding my self-confidence again, and stepping into what the person that I know that I can be, that I kind of lost. You know, I remember years ago when I was at Queensland Health and I'd run self-esteem and assertive programs for people, I'd say to them, you know, like, if you've got a newborn baby, a little baby, put it in the chair, because that's full self-esteem. That's before the world screws you over, you know, before all those layers come, you know. But when we get to, like, say, my age, I'm in my 60s going towards my 70s, you know, there's a lot of layers there that need to be peeled back. And I love these get-togethers or these mastermind groups. You know, I love them because I can be me, and I can hear people, what they're doing and how they're growing and how they're changing, and how none of us are perfect. But in this group, we're striving to be the best that we can. And accountability is a big thing. Like Martin said to me in the beginning, sometimes in these groups you get your butt kicked, you know, in the nicest way. Yeah, that's it from me.
Yeah, thanks for sharing there, Kirsty. And yeah, we call it a compassionate butt kicking, because obviously it's that thing of, well, you said you were going to do it, so why haven't you done it? And obviously, if life gets in the way from a point of a sick or a death in the family or whatever it would be, but it's those moments of, well, why haven't you done it? And then we go, well, I was just busy and I got stuck in this stuff. Well, how important was that task for you then? Because if you're going to put other things in front of it, it can't have been important to you. And I find it always goes back to like the why behind it all. When I write down my 3 big rocks each day, are they really the most important things for me to get done today? And once I've got them done, do I really need to stay working? Do I need to keep myself accountable for anything else? Or can I say, well, I'm going to go for a walk in nature. I'm going to go and hang out with my dogs. I'm going to go and watch a movie, or I'm going to do whatever I want to do to fill my own cup. But then putting it out to a group, I believe we're raising the expectation for ourselves to step up. And when we look at, like we just listened to, in particular, what Corey just said then about the action that you chose to take, Corey, resulted like by saying, I realized I don't know everything. I'm going to hold my hand up and say, I'm not as great as I thought in that area. I know that I'm open to learning more information. And then because of that accountability to grow, look at what happened as in another result, which was, I'm going to just say, not expecting, that your boss stepped forward and said, let me pay for that, mate. If you're willing to take action, if you're willing to be accountable for your own self-growth, and you're going to bring that value into my space, which I've created for you to work in and help other people, let me be a part of that growth for you. Like that's a powerful place to be. And also, as an outsider, and naturally just using this example with Corey, it just goes to show you the power of being around the right people. Because how many other bosses would have actually given acknowledged to that? And like you said, going through the COVID and the struggles financially, it's easy to say as an excuse, it's been a tough time, we haven't made much money. But realistically, he knows investing, it is a he, isn't it, Corey?
Yeah.
He knows investing back in his staff helps create value, connection, people feel valued. It keeps a close-knit team, which then results in better morale, higher vibration in the group. People walk into that gym, they feel that energy, and like, wow, I want to be around this. I want to stay here. So I think that often the result that we experience from a level of accountability, we tend to just focus on the self result and not the overflow, what's happening, the ripple effect, so to speak, that's created from us choosing to be accountable for ourselves. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the other thing is that the changes don't need to be significant, right? Like we don't need to be setting massive goals. The company Automatic, they set their projects up. The Automatic started WordPress basically. Matt Willenhag started WordPress, and then Automatic's like a company that services WordPress essentially. They're a fully remote business. They've got 1,100 employees. They don't have a project that lasts longer than 6 weeks. If it's going to take longer than 6 weeks, the project's too big and it gets broken down into a smaller project so it can be done in 6 weeks. And that's how they operate their business, 6 weeks at a time. And they're one of the biggest companies in the world. So another example is yesterday, I put 80 kilos in the bar for my bench press, right? And the owner was coaching the session. He comes in and he goes, let's put another 2.5 kilos on, Corey. So we put 2.5 kilos on, right? And the reality is that I would have made all my sets without really exerting myself at 80 kilos, but at 82.5, I needed help on the last 2 reps of the last effort. And that resulted in an accumulation of 80 kilos of weight that I moved in that 30 minutes of time, more than I would have if I had just stuck with the 80 kilos. So like that small change of 2 kilos resulted in an 80 kilo change overall. So I was talking about, I did a video on this morning actually, because we talked about it in men's group last night. So it's funny that this ends up being the topic of the day. Like there's a guy last night said, I have a busy mind, and he just believes that. And I challenged him to say, could you have a quiet mind for 2 minutes a day? Could you set a time for 2 minutes and sit quiet for 2 minutes? And then could that become 3, 4, 5, etc., etc.? Could you, but this guy's 130 kilos, could he swap, he's drinking Coke while we're on the call. I'm like, could you swap Coke for water? Like, what do you really value? You know, you've got all these health problems. Where's his accountability in it? And instead of saying you need to like stop drinking Coke, stop eating ice cream, don't have this for breakfast, etc., etc., I challenge him to swap Coke for water, like one simple step, right? So we can have one simple thing that can create, instead of looking at it as like, oh, that won't have an impact, it's actually that one that's like that little rolling stone, right? That's at the top of a mountain, and you've got a little rock, and you just roll it, it starts collecting snow, collecting snow, collecting snow. By the time it gets to the bottom of the hill, it's a massive snowball, it's going to destroy a village, right? The same philosophy applies to the micro changes that we implement in our daily life. And that's where I'm at the moment. I'm really thinking about on a much smaller scale rather than, I've got the end picture in mind of where I want to be, but I'm really thinking about what other small micro steps that I can take that don't really change my life too much at the moment. That's really becoming my coaching philosophy. I guess as we talk about that, like as I'm building my website and my content, like I'm really thinking about that's the kind of coach that I want to be, and how do I portray that to people rather than trying to mirror the Stephs and the Marks and all the guys I've kind of followed. I'm really going, okay, who am I and what do I bring to the world, and what are those micro things that I can do to just be present to that all the time.
Yeah, which is then your authentic brand and authentic message.
Yeah, which is what you spoke about yesterday.
Yeah, you're on that call, yeah. Yeah, great share, mate. And I know that we've recently had the ensuite renovated here, and I basically had sent through the video to my best mate owns the house that I rent, and I sent a video of all the work that had been done, and I said these are all the problems with it that you need to just be aware of. If you choose to pay the tradie, then fine. And the guy who did the job came over, and he was annoyed with me. There was no doubt about it. He said, "You should have told me, not gone to Dave." And I said, "Well, I'm just a tenant, and Dave's paying the bill, so it's up to him whether he wants to pay it or not." And he was quite rude, and I was taken back with how rude he was. And I stopped him, and I just said, "Let me ask you a question. You were the last person to leave this room when you finished last week. Were you happy with the job?" And he went, "No, I wasn't." I said, "So if you're not happy with the job, why do you expect to be paid for it?" And he just reined it in, and I said, "Not being funny, mate, but it's the 1%ers that make the job. You came in and you've done all the tiling and you've changed all this stuff and you put a new cabinet, a new shower screen, new toilet in there. That's the big chunk of it. But the 1%ers are, you've drilled holes in the tiles in the wrong place and you filled it with silicone. You've got chips on the tiles around the corner. They're the 1%ers that stand out, especially to somebody like myself who's been in the industry for over 20 odd years. I know the building industry, I know the expectation, and I was letting him know that." So he actually turned around and when he finished, they spent the day with his team. And when he finished, and he said, "All right, we're done." And the first thing I said to him, "Are you happy with it? I don't need to go and check it. Are you happy with it?" And he's like, "Yeah, I am. I'm happy with everything that we've done." I'm like, "Right, so that's good enough for me then." So, because if he's happy with it, then he knows that's his best. And you can't do any better than your best. So in that moment. So I sent a video back to Dave in England, and he was like, "Mate, that looks so much better." Now, your average tenant would have just gone, "Yeah, it's done." But it needed to be raised. And it goes back to what you said there, Corey, like around the snowball effect. It's the 1%ers that make the difference. It's just that fine tuning, the tweaking. You know, when you, I watched Cars 3 last night, the animation. I love the animation movies. And when you think around the racing industry, the cars come in, they have all the computers, they check them. The MotoGP, I absolutely love. It's just fine little tweaks. It's like 0.0001 mil of an adjustment. How does that change the bike's performance? So they're not big changes that need to be made. Even by being on this call, you look and go, an hour-ish of your day, it's 4 to 5% of your day. And what's the value that we could get out of it? I know one call that I was on, mastermind call that I was on, and I chose to be accountable. I said I was going to be there. I was on it. It literally changed the whole course and direction of where I'm going, and got clarity on who I want to make sure I'm around. And one call changed such a massive impact, but it only had a massive impact because I chose to act on that. The information came in, but we have to act. So is there anything coming up for yourself, Ahmed, while you're listening?
Something that came to myself. Actually, it's just what you just said. It's the 1% change, actually. This is just hit me. I said, wait, this is right. I mean, if just small changes taken for a long period of time and I keep on doing it, it will make a huge shift, basically, in my results. That is one thing. And for accountability, I've never done it basically in a way that I'll be accountable for a group. So basically, I was always struggling with actually making change in my life, or basically taking a step forward. And to me, accountability helps me to take actions. Actions are the bridge to actually to changing a vision to reality. So this is my takeaway.
Yeah, good. It reminded me when you mentioned that of when you said around the small things consistently done. The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Has anybody heard that or read it?
No.
It's a great. I think it's actually available on YouTube. It's a great audio and book. But he actually talks around. His dad was in the military, and he was also a sports coach, and he would continually talk to them about commitment. And I've always loved what he said about commitment. He said commitment is doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the mood that you said it in has left you. And so we get excited, we go into a room, we're around like people on this call, I'm going to do it. And it's the campfire effect. You're around the campfire, it's nice and warm, you're all excited, and then you leave and it starts getting colder and colder and colder, and you fall back into your habits. And that's why, like, when you look at like, we go to these events and you think of like Tony Robbins, and everybody's there and the energy's through the roof and everyone rah, 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 jumping and banging the chest and doing what they're doing. But the moment they leave, that's when the growth needs to take place through the actions. And when he was saying around, he did a thing where he said, when you look at the compound effect, what would you rather have? Me give you $3 million right now, or I give you a penny that compounds over 30 days? And people go, $3 million bucks? Really? You're going to give me $3 million? And they're like, I'll give you $3 million right now, or I'll give you a penny that compounds. And most people go for the $3 million. But the penny that compounds over 30 days brings in something like $10.5 million, because it's the constant growth of it, doing it every single day. It's compounding, it's growing. And it creates something that's so big. And that goes back to what Corey, you were saying before around the tasks to get everything aligned for the trip into the woods, and what you're creating there. And that you look and you go, well, how does that compound without leverage? So the leverage is, who am I connected with? Who's my network? I can go to those people, but how do I expand outside of them without them going out and doing that if they're not doing it? And then it starts to look at, well, I do have to there's people who need my help. They just don't know about me yet. And therefore, that's where the adverts come in. You know, you look and go, I've connected with some amazing people through either paid adverts or just putting myself out there on social media. and built some incredible relationships, arguably some stronger, and I've never met these people just online, arguably stronger than friendships and relationships I've got since I was a kid. And some of them with even family members, which is a judgment in itself around family and relationships. But at the same time, it's that thing of when people are aligned, when people are looking for an answer, looking for value, and you have that value to give. And this isn't just for Corey at all, this is for all of us. We have that value to give. And they're like, I like you because, as Corey said before, I don't want to be like Mark. I don't want to be like Steph. I'm me. And that attraction is like, I like what Corey's saying. I like what Ahmed's saying, what Kirsty's saying. And I want to hear more. I want to be around these people. I want to be around this person. I want to grow. I want to go to their events. I want to be on the mastermind with them. And it's that willingness to step into the vision. And it goes back to that's what does success mean to us. But I think it goes more to a line of also the vision. If the vision and the mission is to help people, how do we leverage, how do we create something of leverage to actually get in front of more people to help them? Because the people are out there, we've just got to find them and we've got to help them see the value that we have. And that comes back to accountability. Am I being accountable towards my vision, my goals, my desires? What actions can I take? And like you said there, Ahmed, even if it's small things done every day, the 30-minute walk. What is the result of, what is the goal that you want to achieve with the 30-minute walk? Is it just to get out and experience a bit of time outside? Is it to get a bit healthier? Are those 30 minutes walks going to evolve into like 10-minute jogs? You know, where's it going? Because it's going to constantly evolve. And like Corey said there around him on the bench press, could have just easily done 80. But, well, what's stopping him from doing 82 and a half? What's stopping him from doing 85 and 90? And it's that thing of, well, I'm getting better, I'm getting better, I'm getting better. And I think for a lot of us, well, I know I speak on my behalf, I like a challenge. It's not ego driven. I just like to challenge myself and see where I can go to the next stage. Because there's no way I'd go back to the gym now and go, I'm going to try and bench 80 kilos. No chance. Lucky if it was 20. So, because I've been detached for so long, because I haven't been doing it regularly. So then respecting, well, yeah, this is where I want to be, but I haven't been doing the work. I haven't been taking the actions to get to here. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to start right at the beginning and give myself that self-love. I know that a year from now, I could be on a mastermind saying to Corey, 85, bro, 85.
I guess that's where these groups are so important and so good to be having those conversations, because if you don't see it in your mind's eye, you know, and visualize it, well, it's not going to happen. Yep. It has to start from there first, and from there it grows into reality. It's like Ahmed said, I think it was Ahmed said, the action is the bridge towards taking the vision towards reality. But we've got the vision, we come to these meetings, we have the conversation, we have the vision, and it puts it in our mind's eye, and then that will go further. What we think about is what we attract, whether that be positive or negative.
Yeah. Taking notes. They always get so much value. Yeah, great share, Kirsty. Anything else coming up for anyone?
The thing I just wrote down was knowledge without action, or learning without action, is simply a waste of our time. We can do all this stuff and learn and learn and learn, but unless we take action, I guess yesterday's a classic example for me. You know, I was learning and I realized that, hey, I actually really need more teaching in this space. What action can I take? And then from there it is, what can I do to move forward to implement those learnings, right? Which I already started implementing just from reading the journal into the gym yesterday when I went back to run a class. So it's that implementation and action that is the critical action, the critical part of the process, really.
Just time for me notes.
Sorry.
No, go for it, Kirsty.
I was just going to say, I guess I've been very guilty of that. What Corey just said then about the knowledge without action is a waste of time, really, you know. Like I can remember years of what I call greedy reading. I love Noble Goldman books, Louise Hay, Wayne Dyer, you name it. I've read the lot. I've got most of them here. I've been doing it for years, reading and greedy reading, you know, really enjoying it. But it didn't translate into action. It did temporarily, but not enough, nowhere near enough to build me to be the person that I can be. You need the action.
It's interesting you mentioning that as well, Kirsty, because I was at an event earlier this year, and the guy who was presenting, do you know? Does anyone know Mitch from MJB Seminars? Yeah, you know, Corey. So Mitch was saying that he went to the events, he read the books, he listened to the audios from the likes of Wayne Dyer and Oprah and Jim Rohn and so on. And he said that it didn't do anything for him. He still got value, but he needed more. And that's when he started diving into the universal laws, when he started going into quantum physics and so on, and diving even deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's obviously not that these people, the likes of Wayne Dyer and Abraham Hicks and so on, don't provide value, because it's just where we're at. And we only get what we need anyway, and where we're at. But he said that he really, once he started understanding the universal laws, things started shifting for him. And it was really interesting, because I sat there listening to say that, and I said to myself, well, in particular Wayne Dyer, and obviously he's not been with us for a while, but listening to his audios and getting into some of his books, and even just having his books on my bookshelf, I've got lots of his books, just having them there, the energy emitting from them really helped me. It helped me through that phase of my life, and really it brought the accountability back onto self, to not only like invest in audios or books, but to also send like the accountability of self-love, to take the time out to do what I needed to do for me, because I had always been 100 mile an hour, keep myself busy, then it just blocks out everything else that's going on. Thank you, Beth. And that's, it's been interesting how the journey has evolved to, when I heard of Mitch speak, I felt that was the next phase for me. And it goes a bit back to what I said earlier around getting caught up in the rah-rah around the campfire and all the warmth, and then leaving in that. But it's funny how Mitch planted that seed, and then Noble Goldman in particular came into my life around the law of giving and receiving. And when I went through my mental health stuff, where I really struggled, and I went away, and one of my spiritual mentors, Dee Littlewood, she's absolutely beautiful, and she offered me a seat at one of her events, which was like $500 to go, and I said no, I can't accept it. I would not accept her gift to me, and she said, and this just goes to show where people are at in regards to how good they actually are and how they understand people. She said to me, how do you feel when you serve other people? And I'm like, I feel amazing. The value I get from it is like, I don't need money. The value I get from it. And I think you'll relate here, Corey, in particular, with the discussions we've had. The energy that I receive is all that I need, because it's so powerful. I don't need money. And she said, well, that's fantastic. She said, so when you love to serve, and the gift you get back, you enjoy that energy. And I'm like, yeah. And she went, so how would you feel if you were taking that energy away from somebody else experiencing it? And I went, oh, wow. Yeah. She went, because by you not receiving my gift to you, you are taking away that energy that I will feel and that value that I'll feel. And I never saw it like that. I only saw it from my side, which in a way is selfish as a judgment once you're aware of it. But I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking around, I've always got to give. And it was only when I started hearing about the law of give and receive, I went, wow. And then it came into my life very strong with regards to what we're doing, especially around the masterminds. Because even a few months ago, before all this really started gathering momentum, it was like, oh, an hour on a call doing what? What's the result of it? You know, what is the end result? Because I just got into that mindset of there has to be an end result. But it's like, well, the result can take place during that hour because it's with like-minded people who are all striving forward to make a difference in other people's lives and therefore in their own life, not just on a call with people that, in all fairness, aren't bothered about moving forward and just wish things were better. That makes sense. They're not taking the action.
Yeah.
What you mentioned Wayne Dyer and all of those people that, you know, that like I've followed all those years, and you mentioned the campfire analogy in a sense that everyone's hot and warm and heated up and full of information, everything like that, and then it just, as the days go by, it disappears. But what I like about these calls is the steady drip, drip, drip of information, and then the bit of accountability there. You know, Kirsty, did you follow through on that? Without judgment, really, but a question that for me to ask myself, really, that steady drip of like-minded people and information sharing. I love these meetings. I tend to turn up for even the new program, not just the Gold Star, and I haven't really done enough on learning about Noble Goodman and the 90-day program, and it'll all come in time. I'm just enjoying these meetings.
Yeah, that's what I said to Corey yesterday. I'm just conscious of time. We've got 5-6 minutes. I said to this to Corey yesterday. We obviously we leverage Noble Goldman as a tool to help us, and there's moving parts to Noble Goldman, but the biggest one, in my opinion, and we went over it on the call, the Gold Star call, in regards to what's the value and so on, is that the masterminds, the people we connect with, the value receive, the conversations, the connections there is just, in itself, is priceless. The other bits to it are fantastic. It's kind of like, you know, the icing on the cake or the decoration on the cake, if you will, but it's the actual, the whole build of the cake is right there. And I think, well, if it hadn't have come in, would I still be, in all fairness, walking around blind? And a lot of people wouldn't actually see me for that on the outside, but it's that thing of, you don't know what you don't know. And it's only when you step up and experience it, you go, wow, I didn't even realize that I could go to this next level. Didn't know that I could, like even with yourself there, and you mentioned around that earlier, Corey, about, you know, I know of what I need to know about. Was it strength and conditioning? Yeah. And then, wow, this stuff's amazing. And it's also that thing of, I think it was Talopa said, what's true for you in the morning is often a lie in the afternoon. And it's that belief system that the patterns are, I mean, I remember being taught around in the gym and so on. And then I watched some other trainers, and this one trainer in particular showed a different way of doing an exercise. And I think it was lat pull down or something. And I believed in it, because I started implementing it and I got better results. So I started teaching that, and other trainers were like, no, that's not the right way. And I said, well, what's the right way then? And they show me what they learned, the same thing as what I learned. And I went, well, is that the right way? Or isn't it the right way? It's a starting point, it's a foundation, but what if this is a better way of doing it? Just by making one change, which was, instead of just pulling it down, it was actually just activating and squeezing the lats to drop everything and then pulling the bar down instead of just pulling it. And I got massive results in those people I was training with and training. they got big results. And all it was one change. Instead of pulling it straight down, it was actually keeping it there and then just squeezing the lats down together and the shoulders down and then pulling. So it's go on, mate.
Every day's a learning day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Like the owner of our gym, he says to all the coaches, you know, like, you guys know 90% more than most of the people that are going to come into this space. But for me, it was just about, I don't know, how can I be the best version of myself in that space, right? Like, that's where I want to be of service. So how can I be the best version of myself to then impart that knowledge?
Yeah. So I can't hold on any longer, guys. I'm just gonna have to nip to the toilet for a wee. But can someone just keep the conversation flowing while I go? That's authentic. It doesn't get any more authentic than that.
Cool.
Yeah, I like hearing what you guys are saying, because I'm like a little sponge here. I've been coming to these meetings for a while now, but I really enjoy them and I get a lot out of them. And when I was working in Queensland Health, I worked with a team, but today I have like a private practice, so I'm on my own. And, you know, there's colleagues out there that I can talk to, but not on this level. And, you know, I've paid thousands of dollars for courses in the past, but this one here, all I need to do is just get on the computer, listen to Martin and all, like you guys talking today.
Yeah, it's amazing power, the internet, really. We in our men's group, the guys, I really wanted to take it offline and take it back into a real life space, but the men really want to keep it as a we were doing weekly because I felt like during COVID we should be doing like more regular, just because of the challenges that were coming up. We're going back to fortnightly, so one will be a virtual call and one will be an in real life gathering. So, and it's funny, like one of the guys said last night, like, I've got stuff that I want to share, but I don't want to do it tonight. I want to do it when we're all together in 2 weeks. So yeah, it's just yeah, it's really powerful to have this capacity to be able to connect in and have conversations.
Is it Zoom calls, Corey, that you're using?
Yeah, just use Zoom. So it works really well. So obviously Facebook have created their Facebook meetings now. So, but I'd already paid for the Zoom subscription. So I'll just I think I'm just going to keep running with the Zoom platform. Everyone's familiar with it now.
I need to learn how to facilitate. I attend so many meetings, but I want to be able to run my own mastermind courses over time when, you know, I invite people that I know and like and feel comfortable with, you know, onto calls and that, so we can grow together one day down the road. But so therefore I have to learn how to facilitate on a Zoom call. What about you, Ahmed? Do you use Zoom at all?
Yes, actually, since the COVID-19 situation happened, we started using Zoom, actually, yes. And I've been on, this is my first actually second mastermind call, but from a different group. The first one I had it with the Bob Proctor's coaching program, and I had a mastermind with one person there, actually, yes.
Yeah, nice shares, guys. I just came in and caught the end there. So thanks for holding space for me whilst I want to make myself a little bit lighter there with the week. So that's what happens when you drink so much water. Yeah, fantastic. So what we'll do is, because we've been mentioning around overgorman, I said I was going to just elaborate a little bit more. So I think it's a really important place to just touch on, especially with, I mean, Ahmed and we've had a few conversations just offline, and Ahmed's actually looking to create an online business, but certainly be around people, learn and grow. And I know, Corey, you're all about helping other people, empowering, as well as you are, Kirsty, in self-growth. So I do really think there's huge value in just sharing what I've put together here with you all. It take about 15 minutes max, to just show you this and walk through. So I'll just give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Yeah, great.
Cool.
So we'll have a little bit of questions as well. We have got our next Gold Star call coming up very soon in about 15, 20 minutes.
I'm actually just going to do a quick wee and I'll be back as well, Martin.
All good, Corey, not a problem, buddy. So aren't Kirsty and Ahmed, you're fortunate that neither Corey and I are on our phone taking you to the toilet with us. So your Noble Goldman overview. So Noble is defined as having or showing fine personal qualities or high moral principles. And Goldman is actually a person who is looked upon as a role model. So when we look at it from an external point, the whole message externally is to attract people who have fine personal qualities like ourselves and high moral principles, and is looked upon as, and people who are looked upon as role models, to help other people, to inspire other people to go and create the change and raise the vibration around the world. And what I love about Noble Goldman is it's built on the foundation of the golden rule, which is do unto others as you would have done unto you, which I mentioned earlier in the accountability. This is a big, big one for me in regards to that. My mum always said, if you don't want it to happen to you, don't go and do it to others. So I was learning about the golden rule as a child, unknowingly. So when we look at the members' experience, some of the members, I asked the question last week, what's been your experience within Noble Goldman? They're like, we're able to leverage the education and training from successful leaders, whether that be the likes of Bob Proctor, Joe Dispenza, and then you've actually got the members in the community of Mark Santos, Declan, myself, Kirsty, you know, everybody who's in the community sharing and helping each other. We are building a team of independent of any product, business or service, so that the relationship lasts for life. And that's the key there. I was on a call yesterday and somebody mentioned something, and this one screamed out to me in regards to, we are building relationships because they last. Companies, products, they come and go. So we are creating our own authentic brand, which helps people connect with who we truly are. Once again, we discussed that earlier. Noble Goldman is a values-driven community rather than just seeing people as a number to recruit. I think you actually said that, Kirsty. Noble Goldman is a values-driven community rather than just seeing people as a number to recruit. So when we look at the 6 human needs, humans are looking for certainty. They want stability, they want the safety and security, although we all enjoy the challenges and excitement and difference. And when we look at the opposite of that around the variety, yes, there's the surprise and the challenges and the excitement, but we also understand that during that growth, there's also the chaos and the adventure. It's kind of like when we look at the law of polarity, you can't have good without having bad. You can't have night without having day. So there's always got to be that what we would call chaos to create the change. We're looking for that significance and meaning, feeling special and pride and needed, wanted, a sense of importance and worthy of love. So we're looking for that significance, the connection, the communication and feeling unified and approval from other people and attachment, as well as intimate and loved by other human beings, which is why it's so powerful as to what we've got. The growth as well. We all want to grow. You know, we all truly want to grow, and we're all growing, and we've all grown along the journey to this point right now. And it's the emotional side that a lot of us actually fail on. You know, I use that term quite openly. Intellectual and spiritual development, continuously wanting to evolve, and contribution. We want to give back. We want to help other people beyond ourselves, protecting and serving others. So when I've looked at Noble Goldman and why I've chosen to align with them, it's really around the people. Straight away, the first thing is the people, being surrounded by like-minded, conscious entrepreneurs. So people who don't want to just live in an existence, they really want to make a difference in their own lives, as well as the lives of others. And they want to be challenged, feeling stimulated through the excitement. These are exactly what I want. These are exactly what I love about it. So the opportunity as well. So being free to achieve based on our own efforts for economic growth. You know, the discussion that we've had today around the actions we're taking to grow, to achieve more. and the results. You know, when Corey said about his boss stepping up and saying, well, here you go, let me help you. So that opportunity, the growth as well, becoming somebody more than you were. I love the fact that I've grown immensely just over the last few months that I've been aligned with Noble Goldman. And the money, like whether we love it or loathe it, the money is still being there to be leveraged from by the MSIs. And for a lot of people, that is very important. And unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people understand how important it is until we lose it, until we don't have it. So it's great when we have it. One of my mentors said to me, I've lived with a lot of money, and I've lived with a very little. And I can tell you one thing, it doesn't bring happiness, but it certainly reduces stress. So when we look at leveraging the Noble Goldman system actually stands for, in this case, save yourself time, energy, and money. The most important commodity we've got, like Jim Rohn said, is the time that we have. And we don't want to be constantly on the hamster wheel burning out, and money is important. So systems save time and create more freedom for entrepreneurs. If you learn to leverage systems in order to create better results, you may teach them to your network and multiply your impact. You are now leveraging proven systems that work, systems rather than just your own efforts to grow your business and multiply income streams. And JP Getty said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. So together we are creating the common result. So a simple system to success, it requires 3 qualities. And these are what result in the best systems across the world. They need to be simple to learn, simple to use, and simple to succeed. And when you think of the likes of McDonald's, it doesn't matter if you were starting today, you would be able to walk in there and create the fries to be exactly as good as somebody who's been there for several years, because the system is simple to follow, simple to use, and the result of the fries being tasty, according to people who buy them, is there. So we're helping everyday people, freedom creators, people who don't want to be tied to an office chair, people who want to be able to travel around the world, parents and families, people who actually want to create something now and spend that quality time with the children to see them grow up and not miss out on those priceless moments, as well as leave something that they can pass on for them. Coaches and mentors, bringing them in that space where people are here looking for further additional help, but also feeling aligned and learning and growing themselves. Network marketers, those people who struggle to build teams of people, they're able to leverage the mastermind principle to create multiple teams, as well as find like-minded people and leaders, and business owners in general. And there are many, many other examples of people who benefit. So there are 2 types of membership. There's the free membership, so everybody gets access to free membership, and there's the Gold Star membership. An abundance of value in each of them. So let's have a look at, when you come in as a free member, what you start with. The abundance alignment tool. So straight away, it's all about you, your self-worth, your self-growth. Visualization, affirmations, goals, study, and productivity. You're able to put that into this system that helps track it to keep you accountable. Gratitude journey. You log your daily gratitudes to elevate your vibration. Now, you can choose to do that publicly via typing it in and posting it on the feed, or you can do it privately. But those who are doing it publicly, you see their gratitudes, which helps elevate the vibration and the frequency in the community. Education videos mentored by successful people such as Bob Proctor, Joe Dispenza I've mentioned, and other people, as well as our founder, Mark Santos. And the masterminds, you're able to leverage the masterminds that are available. Within the Your Desired Success, we offer 4, and you've got many more there. Now, when we look at those 4, we have different topics: so core values, worthy goals, daily habits, and accountability. And we have them running in that order for the simple fact that we need to be clear on what our beliefs are, what we value, to move on to what our goals are going to be, then into our daily habits to achieve those goals, and making sure, obviously, we're clear on our accountability. So they're very powerful foundation masterminds to help everybody move forward. So we learn and grow through our free membership masterminds. And when we go into Gold Star, we grow towards your desired success. And what that looks like then is we still have exactly the same foundation at the beginning, but you're also able now to invite other people to come into Noble Goldman for free, and through your own affiliate link. It's called The Key. Now, this also gives you access to Gold Star Elite Masterminds. And as Kirsty said earlier on, This is where we have that high level of compassionate accountability, where we're checking in. What have you said you're going to do? What have you done it? Why haven't you done it? And why have you done it? What was your experience? What's your wins? What have been your lessons? So it's very, very, it's deeper to help you move forward in whatever you're doing. None of us are attached to you joining our businesses or doing the same. We're all here to support each other no matter what adventure we're on. 90-day success program becomes structured in your day through the Noble Goldman strategically designed plan. The Noble Goldman prospecting system as well. So one of the things that we have access to is there's multiple groups. There's more groups being created all the time. And these have thousands of members, but also thousands of members pending. One group in particular, Think and Grow Rich Mastermind Group, it's almost 30,000 people in the group now. And there's, I think there's around about 10,000 requesting to join. So these aren't people that just want to join because they just want to join. These are people that know about Think and Grow Rich. Maybe you've read the book and understand the importance of it and how to implement it. And these are actually people that can come into your mastermind and jump on the call with us, partner with them, and just leverage their minds. Leadership circles. So you're getting around that round table. I just recently watched the movie King Arthur, and he had created this table there for the knights. Become part of the leadership community to impact more lives across the world. Cash flow. Now, education is key. We just heard from Corey earlier on saying around he didn't know what he didn't know, learn and grow. This is a one-stop place where you can go and get all the education you need around training, whether it be on social media, whether it be on managing accounts, and whatever it would be. Everything's in this, and the value is shared from the members into cash flow. So if you've got some value that you want to share, like I know that you do banking, Ahmed. I know that Corey, you do stuff around the men's health. You know, Kirsty, you do things around all what you've learned is in a book of knowledge around health. We can create courses in there to help people, and it saves you time, money, and you obviously you can earn as well because the Noble Goldman give a referral commission on that. Multiple streams of income. So this is a way where you can tap into what's called the MSI, multiple sources, multiple streams of income. Bob Proctor talks a lot about the importance of this. Never has it been more important than what we experienced in 2020 with COVID, people losing their jobs and so on. And that's explained in there as well. And also, if you have a business, whether that be a program, a company where you can have an affiliate system in it, a network marketing business, it can be plugged into Noble Goldman once you've got 12 Gold Star members yourself, which isn't very hard to do. But you can see all the value. And the way that I like to look at this is as if you've just walked in right on the left-hand side, the first white dot, you've just walked into a house. And that's a hallway right the way through, and there's rooms off. You can go into whichever room you wish to go in. For me personally, I only go in the first 6 rooms. That's all that I've been doing. I get so much value from just the first 6 rooms of this track. The other 6 are still there for me to leverage at the moment. So you can see there's great value. So if you're not a free member, it's definitely worth becoming one. And a free member, maybe it's time to step up to Gold Star. And what Gold Star looks like, it's not expensive because Mark Santos, the founder, has focused on keeping the costs very low to help more people around the world. So it's $60 per quarter or $200 US for the year. So a saving of $40 if you do it all right. That's basically less than $4 US per week. And our next Gold Star Mastermind, I would have thought, starts in about 15 minutes. So just hearing one of the things that we don't talk about, that I haven't brought up because we just don't have the time, is the pay it forward system allows us to grow our team easier and faster than ever before, whilst also creating duplication within our teams. So those people who are wanting to build bigger and make more impact, the pay it forward system helps create that. Support, what somebody else said, all resulting in us becoming better versions of ourselves. The masterminds provide access to powerful minds from all over the world. We are taught the importance of multiple sources of income to protect ourselves and our family through times of recession, which I just touched on. So, as I said, registration is free. All you need to do is ask the person for their link. You can go in there and put your details in. All you need to do is above that gold button, once you put your details in, make sure that there is the refer is key, and then you just join. So one of the things that we make sure, and we really like to ensure that you've received value, is to share your 3 biggest takeaways from the call in our private Facebook community at Your Desired Success. So, you know, if you're not a member of that, with registering for the call, you should have received an email that gives you a link directly to that. Go and join into that, and then it's got a post that says around sharing your biggest takeaways. So I'd like to open the floor for the next 5 minutes before we have to go. Are there any questions or feedback?
Actually, I don't have a question, but since this whole mastermind is based on, or the Noble Goldman's group is based on the golden rule, what I'd like to have for the ones who want to define their success, there's a great talk. I mean, if you don't mind, can I share it on the chat, basically with the link on YouTube? Yeah. And now this was given by someone called Kevin Trudeau, and he says how to basically put your dream and how to define it basically. And you start with a dream, which basically takes around, he says, like 20 to 30 to 40 years time to achieve it. And it's a movie basically, so it's more than one thing. And from there, basically, it has to be big, as he says. He goes from there, and actually you have to define what's your chief aim, which is a goal from, let's say, from 1 year to 5 years. And he says, this is the key point to me. He said, it has to be big enough to excite you, yet small enough you believe you can do it. And then basically from there, it comes basically the goal, which is the next logical step that you need to do. And I think maybe for me, at least, one of the things that make me stuck not to be accountable is that I didn't believe in basically, the problem is, as he says, and through his other material, some people may basically have a big dream and they basically say, okay, I want to do it and things like that, but inside of them, they don't believe it. So they keep stuck. So the key to achieving your dreams is actually to have it big enough, or going for the definite chief aim, have it big enough to excite you, yet small enough you believe you can actually achieve them. That's what I want to share with you guys.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Ahmed. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it goes even back to what the SMART process of goal setting of specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely, which is a big one in the fitness industry in particular. But it's like Les Brown said that if we set goals we know we can achieve, then we're never growing. We have to just set them that little bit further where it tests us to go, can I achieve this? And one of the guys that comes on, Gary's very much an optimistic, and he said, I'm going to live till I'm 140. He says, you know what, if I live till I'm 100, I'm still going to be happy, but the goal is 140. So it's that thing of setting it out there as well. But at the same time, it's totally right. There's no right or wrong. It's what suits us, is what I found over the time. And I mean, when you start thinking around like the gym in particular, you see a lot of people challenging themselves and going, you know, and an ego comes into it often. I'm going to throw on, instead of 2.5s, don't be a princess, get the 5s on or get the 10s on or whatever it would be. And it's that challenge of, but if you already don't believe you can do it, I think it was Darren Hardy said, or even Les Brown might have said, it's all right when you sat there at home and you're like, I'm going to go to the gym and bench press 200 kilos. There's a lot of motivation to go and do that. But when you're underneath the bar and 200 kilos is on it, it's like, all right, okay, this is a bit different. Because the second that comes off, it's coming down.
Yeah, Red Bull actually tested their athletes, so all their extreme sports guys and whatnot, and what they found is the stretch is 7%. So if a guy could jump 80 meters on a bike, they could stretch that by 7% and they would land that jump. If they went any further than that, they would crash.
Wow. So with that, Corey, I'm just making a note on that. That was with Red Bull with athletes, but has that been tested, you know, outside of athletes as well?
I don't know. I'd imagine like what applies in one stream applies in other streams, right? So like,
it's got to be up here as well.
Yeah, I mean, I coach athletes in cycling, and so an example is, right, this is an athlete example as well, but the guy, he held 310 watts for 5 minutes. And I said to him, that number is 10% lower than you can actually do because your mind is putting you in self-preservation. So it doesn't want you to push to that next level. And the next set, he did 330 watts for the 5 minute effort, which was an extra 7% essentially. I told him 10% for simplicity, but essentially he directly was able to put that extra 10% or 7% down just through me telling him that his mind was stopping him from what he was capable of.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, wow. That's amazing.
So yeah, it's no different to the gym yesterday. 80 kilos, went to 82.5. It's around 5%.
Yeah,
So
wow. Powerful. Yeah, great share. Well, we have to wrap it up because I've got my next call in 7 minutes. So 7%, 7 minutes. Thanks so much for your time, Corey, Kirsty, and Ahmed, with jumping on and the value shared. I've made a note of that link as well, Ahmed. So I'm going to watch that video. Thanks for sharing that with us. And I'm not sure if I've sent you the link, Ahmed, if you want to jump in and check out and join as a free member with Noble Golden, but I'll touch base with you anyway. So thanks everyone for your time and your wisdom, and we'll see you all next week.
thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.